What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Meet the Critters podcast. Episode 50. It still doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
That it's happening. And then we're doing new stuff even into episode 50, trying to figure this out. So for those who are watching on YouTube now or listening after the fact, this is our first time going live on TikTok with the podcast as well. Hi, TikTok. I'm going to try to read all your questions just as much. This is going to be new. This is going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. There's 170 people already watching over there. And
oh, geez. Yeah, I have a feeling that we're going to get a boatload of questions off there, and I can't read them. So I apologize if Kyle can't keep up with you guys. It's all on Kyle tonight.
So I will tell all 140 people that are in TikTok at the moment. My co-host, Joe Blakesley, also has a TikTok. I could not figure out how to tag him in this live, but please search Blakeslee Acres here on TikTok. Go give him a follow, because as soon as we can get him to 1,000, we can start doing the lives. Same. Yeah. Like he would also have his phone, so we would both be on here as well. So if you are not following Blakeslee Acres, please go do so we can make this more streamlined.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
All right. Well, again, let's hit the people that are here for us every week here on YouTube. What's going on, Joe? What you been up to?
Everything. We got cows being born. We did sell our last two bred sows last week. I was telling Kyle before we hopped on here, my phone's been a little messed up this week, so I haven't really got any content out on any platforms. But yeah, two of the sows, the bred sows, we sold. I didn't have time to get them inside and get them in a good spot. And it's still crazy muddy here. We got rain coming for the next 5 days straight again. And the first one, the old spot cross, she ended up having 14 piglets 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it sucks because, I could have had 11 piglets more to sell. But at the same time, I didn't have the pen space for them to get them inside where it was a little bit better. So I could have ended up with 0 piglets and sows to feed still. So it is what it is. And then update for everyone, especially on TikTok, because Danae did some of the bottle pig things on TikTok. We ended up losing her also.
Oh, that wasn't the news out. I was update on the pig. This is going to be great. Not great.
Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. She was fine. And then she just wasn't fine anymore. And I was supposed to take her into McKinley's class for show and tell.
Oh, Jesus. Pip in the chat over on YouTube, excuses are like diapers. We know when they stink. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
what I've been up to. I had a slaughter this morning. I got 2 more tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was out at the butcher shop for a few days. So
perfect. So over here on TikTok, if you are wanting to watch on YouTube, you can click on my profile. I can do this. The link to my YouTube is right on my main page. You can click right on that. We will be live, so it'll be the flashing or glowing, whatever it is, video that says live. So please go over and check us out over there. And please follow me and Joe over on YouTube as well. That helps us out a ton.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah. No, it's because my girls are starting to bag up a little bit. Not like bag up, but they're dropping. And I'm like, oh boy, I do not want them having their litter out in the back, the back pasture with the boar in there with them. Again, Red is such a sweetheart. I think it would probably be fine, but it's not a risk I want to take when I have other options. I'm just haven't done them yet.
Realistically, I think he might be fine with the piglets, but it's just one more large pig laying around and walking around that. Yeah, that would make me nervous also. You're going to have you're keeping the 2 sows together to farrow together, correct? Is that what you're
Yes. So thinking? I have to figure that out because everyone on TikTok has seen videos about this all day. And I know some of the people here on YouTube follow us on Telegram as well. We've been completely revamping our main pig area, which is 2 paddocks connected together that I can easily gate off that have shelters in each. So more than likely, my plan right now, I still need to get just the girls through. That's like back into that paddock alone. And then farrowing starts, that's when it's going to get interesting of who's getting separate. Like, are we separating them or are they just instinctually going to go to the separate paddocks? So I'm going to leave the gate on and we'll see what happens. And if things start getting feisty, I guess we're going to end up moving them. But they're progressing so similarly. And like Red put in the work for those like couple days. I guarantee you they're going to be right after each other. If anything, the gilt's going to go first. So we'll figure it out once we get there. My main thing is just getting them in. So I did have a moment of like, this never happens. I'm the luckiest person on the planet. So I got a bunch of telephone poles from that big storm that we had. So instead of the posts that were bending over in the original fence, I put 2 of those in the ground on top of I laid a 10-foot section down so I could put a 10-foot fence there so I can bring the tractor in and out. Cause that was the big issue. The old ones couldn't get in there with anything. And the stretch that I need to fill is exactly 16 feet. Perfect. For a 16-foot hog panel. I literally put the measuring tape out and I was like, am I a fucking wizard? Like, 10 minutes. Well, it's not like we're making money anyway. I don't care. Like, am I a fucking wizard? How did I do this on the fly? That's insane. And then my stepdad came up. He's got a small Kubota and a dump trailer. So I was like, if you can go into the back paddock and level everything out, because that's been my sandiest one. So I took a bunch of manure, put it over the fence. We've put wood chips, hay bales, everything in there. And I was like, here's the 2-year-old, go to town. And for an hour, they just tooled around back there, backbladed everything, got it all set. And he has a backhoe on the back of that. So we were able to put those posts in like quick. And I was like,
that makes a huge difference having just that. It doesn't seem like it's a lot having a piece of equipment like that, but trying to hand dig those holes or pound them in by hand. Yeah.
Oh, and again, these were telephone poles. Like, and some of the one that I have up against where the gate's going to be, that one's the butt end. So that one, and I buried it upside down. And like, so the top of it's like this. So getting that in, and of course, my tractor still has no brakes. My stepdad's holding it up, straightening it with the backhoe. I'm rolling downhill with my hand on the emergency brake, trying to judge it to turn it off or like stop it, and then put my bucket on it to straighten it out. And it's like, we looked like idiot. Like, it was like, this is bad. But it worked. So we'll be getting the fence probably tomorrow or this week sometime and get that up, get it moved. John, you live in New Hampshire too? Give me a follow. You're basically a neighbor on TikTok.
Yeah.
The internet.
But yeah, I seen that you cleaned out that big manure pile and everything. Looks a lot better.
Oh my God. It's like now that it's like the project's almost done, I get to have those moments where I just get to walk through and be like, oh, this is so clean. Like, this is so nice. It's like, it's going to be like this for a total of 30 seconds until I put pigs in there.
Do I really want to put them back in here? Do I really want to do that?
Like, do I really want to do this? And of course, my stepdad's going to town. Like, he's doing everything. Like, he's getting into every corner and everything. He's filling in the wallows and stuff like that. He's like, is that going to be all right? I'm like, I'm going to let you know a little secret. That's still the lowest point in this entire paddock. That's going to be all dug out and wallowed out in a matter of like 4 days. You go, yeah, really? I was like, yeah. Like,
yeah, do what you want, but the pigs are going to put dirt where they want it anyway.
Yeah, we got the posts. We got the posts, and he's like, he jumps back on the tractor, spins the chair, springs the seat around, and just goes, all right, I'm going to go play out back for a little bit more. I'm like, go for it. Have fun.
Yeah. No, I got out by my pine tree grove way out back. I got that fence tore down. I just got to get it cleaned up now. So we're planning on, I don't know if I mentioned this before, we're planning on having it logged So
yeah, you did say that.
I'm working on tearing that fence out and get it cleaned up so they can get in there. There's only probably 2 or 3 loads of logs in there, I think, that are ready to go.
Still
But,
something.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm looking forward to having it opened up a little bit more too, because I'd like to put at least 4 strands of electric down, like around the whole outside perimeter of my property, mainly by the roads, because the animals for some reason are attracted to the main road here.
Of course.
And
As they are.
so I think I'm going to try getting that 4 strands all the way up around down the backside of my property. So then when I turn the goats and the sheep loose, they'll be able to get up there and forage in those pine trees and clean up pine needles from the logging.
Yeah.
And
that'll be nice. Yeah. And John over on TikTok, yes, I do butcher wild game during the season. Like I said, follow me and throw me a message and we'll chat. We'll get something figured out. Yeah, it's when you do get it all cleared out and like just building a new paddock is like the funnest thing in the world for me. Like I know people hate fencing, they hate doing all this, but it's like I got to have like a full day of being on the tractor, building a ramp, like in and out of the paddock, like in the gate area. I laid another telephone pole and buried it so they couldn't dig under the gate. So like I don't have to worry about that. And just like building everything up, moving around. It's like, oh yeah, this is the funnest thing in the world. This is way better than being able to read or do math. Like
I'm the same way. I love building fence. I absolutely love. I don't know why. I just love doing it. I was out of the shop Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on my business partner's farm. He has a large piece of property he's fencing in for cattle, and he had a couple of his other guys working with me, and we did. 2 weeks ago, I went over and we put the wood posts in, then we put a bunch of T-posts in. And I want to say he said it was like 30-something acres we fenced in. I want to say that's what he said. It was like 20-something rolls of barbed wire that we rolled out in those 3 days and strung up.
Right.
So, I mean, it was a good chunk. But when you stand back and you look at it after it's all up and it's brand new and nothing's ran through it yet, it's like, oh, yeah, he's still going around with. Oh, yeah, it is. And he's still going to put 2 strands of high tensile electric up too. Yeah. So it's going to be like barbed wire, electric, barb, electric, barb.
Yeah.
So it should be a pretty sturdy fence.
Perfect. Yeah, I need to run a few more ground lines this year. I think a big issue is I did see Pip down here. Tractor jumps. That I never want to have that tractor come off the ground. I've had that tractor come off the ground before. It's the most terrifying thing on the planet. When that back tire lifts up off the ground because you're lifting something a wee bit too heavy, and it's an open cab tractor with a plywood fender. Yeah, that's not a fun place to be.
Yeah, it's not fun. Like the skid steer we have for the shop here, I've had some really large beef, like 1,100 pound hang weight beef, and I mean it's a large skid steer. It picked them, but I was teetering, like I had the back end of the tracks off the ground at least 2 foot. And I got to get out and finish skinning it and gut it out while it's teetering. It's pretty. Yeah.
Oh, I've lifted what was it? It was a Holstein Cross and it was massive. Like I think it was hang weight 950. So the bucket is fully extended all the way up. And you can just feel how light the tractor is getting on and off of it. Like, if no one's ever felt that, again, it's the most terrifying thing on the planet. We got Lisa Robinson in here. Good to see you. We haven't had her in a while.
Yeah.
But, well, to segue into that, talking about pigs and getting everything cleaned up and everything, Pip had a question over in the Telegram chat. And it actually, as soon as he said it, I was like, oh, that's perfect. His question is, how do you keep the pigs from getting bored? I assume their boredom leads to the pigs trying to get out of the pen. You'd be correct. You'd be absolutely correct. So like, if you look at my paddocks right now, they are just, there's nothing in them. Like they are completely flat. It is what it is. Luckily, the sows will have a lot to worry about with piglets. They're not going to get too bored. But I think the biggest thing is just kind of like continually move animals. And if you can't, that's where you run into, first off, you got to keep your fences tight and you got to keep your fences hot, because nothing like solves boredom than getting zapped by a fence and going, I don't want to go through that gate.
Yeah.
But then other things is like, especially like in the summer, I've like gotten ice blocks and thrown them in and stuff like that to keep them distracted. When the feeders got out, like over the winter, I drove a post into the ground and like made like a PVC pipe, like Kong toy, and just drilled holes in it and just put whole corn in. And they would just sit there and just spin it until it was empty. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Pretty much trying to keep pigs busy is very similar to keeping your dog busy, giving them toys, giving them new things to explore. I mean, you're not necessarily going to throw a harness on your 600-pound sow and take her out for a walk, but like Kyle said, if you can rotate your paddocks and set up new ones, and the more frequently you move them, the less likely they are to want to escape, because there's always something new to dig up and root up, and bugs to find to eat, and plants and roots and stuff. Still haven't seen a sheep show.
Lisa, I love you. You've been around. Lisa's been around since episode 1. We're up here at episode 50. Lisa's been around since episode 1. And I hate to break it to you, Lisa, there will probably never be a sheep show. I don't want to do it. I hate them. I'm just kidding.
I'll sneak some sheep shows in for you now that the kids are doing it.
I'm sure you'll be sneaking around with some sheep.
Hey, I even got those the professional Amish boots now with the straps. You ever hear that joke?
Exactly. You got put the sheep legs right in the boots, so that way they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I told that to the Amish guys when they're here working on the steel. How do you tell a pro Amish from an amateur Amish? And they're like, how? I said, amateur Amish wear muck boots and the pro Amish wear lacrosse boots. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, the lacrosse boots, they strap in so you can stick the sheep's legs down in there, and you strap them down in so they can't kick their way out. They thought it was the funniest thing they ever heard.
That is pretty fantastic. Oh, I'm sure Aaron over in TikTok ain't a sheep joke I ain't heard. I'm sure. But yeah, it's my biggest thing would be, if you have the space to move them frequently. Other than that, like toss in hay bales, like stuff like that. Do things that is also going to help where they are, help your paddocks and things like that. You throw a junk mulch bale in there, they'll tear that thing apart until there's nothing left.
And you'd be surprised how well that soil builds back after those pigs tear it up and, put their manure and stuff into it, but they just turn it and tear it apart and shred it up, and it breaks down that much faster. It's like using the chicken method for turning compost. You're just using the pigs. And
it's a bigger scale.
I used to do that when on my old property, when I raised pigs in the wintertime. I would put hog panels or cattle panels up around my garden, and I'd move the pigs into there, and I'd bed them down and put, and then in the springtime, usually by the mid-spring, by the time we were ready to start planting, I could till that in, and the soil, after 2 years of doing that, the garden like went nuts between the pig manure and then the compost that I was making, and then just having all that bedding that the pigs broke down over the winter.
Well, that's what was so nice to get about, like, my stepdad went through that back paddock. I haven't been able to touch it with a piece of machinery since I built it. So all the years of putting stuff in there, and now just having him go to town for a couple hours and just turn everything, get it in, and lay it all out. It's like, oh, look, topsoil. Weird how that works.
Is the back paddock, is that the one that you built last year to add on for the pigs that you had cows and stuff in before?
No. So when I say, it's hard because I usually say summer paddock for the one the breeders are in now, because that's the big 3.5 acre one that there's a ton of spots to move. There's a tree line and everything in there that they can rummage around in. And then the original pig pen I built, it's like an L shape. So the bottom of the L is one paddock, and then the other part comes up parallel to the garage that's there. And that's where like I go into the paddock in. So again, I built it so I could separate what I had there. I originally built it because I was an idiot and I was like, I'm going to raise 4 pigs. And then I was like, no, actually, I'm going to raise 9. And they were different ages by a lot. Yeah. So I had to separate them. Kind of sucked. It was originally just going to be one big paddock.
I'm assuming my cows were out running loose. Like my wife's comment.
I saw that.
They ran out of grass today, and I moved pastures, but I didn't call them over there yet because I had to run to town and get some supplies for the shop. Yeah. So I called her when I got over here. I said, "Hey, can you go out and try to get the cows into the new pasture so they don't get out?" Well, I'm assuming they got out before.
Fun stuff.
That was before that happened.
Right. Lisa Robinson actually puts a good one here in the chat. Old bowling balls are great for pigs to push around.
Yeah,
for sure. The one thing I will say is be careful what you do put in, because like my wife threw in a bunch of branches and stuff into the feeder pen from like the storm that happened. And I was like, pile them up and I'll toss them in the tractor. I'll go put them in the burn pit. And then I came back over to the shop and they were all in the feeder pen. I was like, all right, it is good enrichment. They're tearing them apart. They're having fun with them. But what they're also doing is when they're done with them, they just push them to the edge of the paddock directly into the electric fence, which grounds out everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so sticks are the worst.
They're the worst.
And that's what, like that pine tree grove, I used my pigs the last 2.5 years out in there, rotating them through different sections. And they've done a great job of cleaning it up. But it's a pine tree grove, so there's a lot of deadfall stuff in there. And I had that all the time where the pigs just somehow I'd have trees in the middle of the pasture. I mean, that's little over 2 acres of pasture. They would drag those whole limbs over to the fence and ground it out. It's like,
yep,
really? I've got a whole pile of sticks that I pulled off the fence up there that needs to be burnt. Like, it'll be a good sized bonfire when I get around to doing it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bearded Lunchbox, over on TikTok for all the gifts and fun things. But yeah, that's the only thing I'd say. Just be careful what you put in. Like like on the feeder pen, I've like accidentally dropped buckets, and I'm just like, that's yours now. Have fun with that. Like that's not going to ground the fence out. Have a ball, roll it around. I think I've tossed in old tractor tires and things like that, and like periodically I'll go in and I'll toss like whole corn into the tires, and that way they can roll them around and try to get the feed and everything out of them. So again, if you spend your whole farming career trying to keep pigs entertained, you're going to be very disappointed with your life.
Yeah, I at the butcher shop I worked at before, they raised their own beef and pork for a while, and they had a commercial style hog barn that they finished their feeders in. We would put chains in there to keep them from chewing on each other, because you get a lot of pigs in a small pen. Like I'm sure Aaron, if he's still listening, he can attest to that, because they do commercial pigs up there that from what I've caught on some of his videos, that if you don't keep them occupied with something, that they can become a-holes to each other.
Absolutely. Lisa, I'm gonna pull Lisa up. Lisa, we would love to have you on the show. I would absolutely love to hear what you say about pigs. I've been trying to get you on the show since episode 1. So reach out to me on Telegram, or I'll find you. I'll reach back out to you, and we'll get it planned out. We will have you on as soon as you want, because I genuinely do want to know what you have to know about them. Again, I don't really hate sheep. It's just satire. It's the internet, so it has to be. Yeah. But I just don't enjoy them. So that's all the fun stuff.
Yeah, we're up to four sheep now, and they're all Texel crossed with Dorset, I want to say, is what I was told. So they're wool, unfortunately. I when I originally thought about getting into sheep, I wanted to do the hair sheep just because they're a little bit lower maintenance. I didn't have to have someone, but I did line someone up to shear them hopefully this week. They're supposed to be coming out. So I'm going to try getting video of it, but I can't promise anything. Depends on if I replace my phone or not before they show up. I mean, it's still working. It just, if I unplug it, it like the battery just dies right out.
Thanks. Well, I will put it out to everyone on YouTube and over on TikTok where comments are getting filtered, which is nothing new to my lives. If anyone has any questions, butchering or farming related, or just utter nonsense, listen, we're 26 minutes into the podcast. We've actually stayed pretty on topic for it just being the two of us. So if anyone has any questions related to butchering, farming, or anything like that, please toss them in. Lisa down here, Katahdins are the best sheep in your opinion? Yeah. I mean, I've processed some really, really nice Katahdins.
Yeah, I wanted to get Katahdins, but I also wanted to try some crosses too. Well, if you go back, we didn't really cover sheep, but when William Robinson was on, he breeds Katahdin and Katahdin Dorper crosses over on his farm. I'm looking over on Telegram. Pip had another question on there too, Kyle.
Okay, we'll get to that one right in a second because your wife put up we're going to go off the rails. Yeah, we've chosen violence. Have you heard about Survivor? I have not heard anything. I don't think I will be getting on any seasons that I know of at the moment. I'll probably still apply because why not?
Yeah, you're getting bigger on TikTok now.
And that's just
eventually they're going to be like,
"Who is this idiot?" So yeah, we'll see. I might end up on Survivor. I don't know. My wife's mom wanted me to try out for Deal or No Deal Island, and I was like, absolutely not. I have some moral. I have some morals. I don't have a lot, and I'm definitely not going on a show that depends on finances. Like, I mean, it doesn't. You're picking a briefcase, but still. What happened? Listen to the background. Left the farm today. Oh, no. Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah, sorry, Tyler. Yeah, unfortunately, we all have those days.
Sure do. I've had to kick indoors. I'll pull up Pip's other question. Is there a different cooking style to farm-raised animals versus a common store-bought chunk of meat? I'd say yes.
Yeah.
I think it's situational, but I mean, if you get a really nice fed out steer or something like that, it's like the difference is it's going to be way better. Like that, in my opinion, like you're going to have better taste. But it also, like, when I hear that question, yeah, Aaron over in the chat says slower for sure. Cook it slower. I always tell people that with bacon, especially off of my pigs, because they're more lard breed pigs, of just like cook your bacon.
Yeah, you end up burning it really fast.
You will burn it really quick. Like my first thought is if somebody's raising a cow in their backyard or something like that, very dependent on breed as well. It's like, yeah, that Jersey that you put, that 3-year-old Jersey steer you put in is not going to be the same as the store-bought meat. One, like depending on how you fed it and things like that, but it could absolutely be better. So, yeah, I would say definitely slower and just kind of season it the way you would anything else. Like if you're buying a whole cow or something like that, definitely use. My dog just marked in the middle of the goddamn living room. Excuse me 1 minute. I'll be right back. Son of a bitch. Get out of there. Guess I'll handle that later. That just completely threw me off. Bastard. He's lucky he's 140 pounds.
I would kick your ass otherwise.
Right. You're lucky I'm a nice guy.
Yeah. Please don't chew my arm off.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have anything to put to that after my rambling?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And it also the situational part I can see too, because like you said, breed of animal, how it was raised, every grass fed is you got to cook it completely different than a grain finished animal. I found that out the hard way. The first grass fed animal that I raised, so used to cooking grain finished steaks and stuff, and it didn't. Yeah, it was chewy, and I was super disappointed. And then once I figured out how to cook the steaks from that animal, they were amazing. It's a totally different cooking method.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at industrial farming and industrial slaughter as it is today, that is the goal. The goal is for every steak to be as close to identical as possible. Like, that's the point of the regulations and things like that. When you're buying a cow from somebody, it's different. Like, I guarantee you, even from where I live to where you live, if like we both raised a cow, it would be a drastically different cow. Let alone if you live in Florida, Mississippi. Like if you live in the South, the cow is going to be completely different than you could put the exact same parameters, the exact same situations, all of it. So yeah, just support local farmers and buy good meat. That's
exactly.
Fun stuff.
And Pip also asked if I need, where is it? Rubber ducks. Sure, Pip.
Of course, I'll take them. Right?
Yeah.
No,
I'm just looking through see if I didn't miss anything on here.
I didn't see anything. I will. Should I announce this now? I'm going to announce it now because I have a date. I have a date that the comedians from they're originally out of New York City. They're down in Texas now. But a couple comedians from the podcast Stuff Island are coming up to film content up here. We're gonna walk them through a slaughter and see what happens. So I'm excited. We're gonna do some redneck shit because why not? Two city boys coming out to the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire. Might as well.
I told Danae about that. She's like, just go up there. I'm like, I should. Maybe. I should. As long as I make it back by the next day, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be fine. The airport's an hour away from here. I mean, it would be what? 40-minute flight, 45-minute flight?
Yeah, probably. If I found a direct. That's the problem is they want me to fly into New York City and then fly up.
Oh, idiots.
Dumb. It's just the way it is now. They don't want it's so hard to find direct flights anywhere. And then when you do, they're either more money or they're very limited.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, how close
Pip says he's got 350 plus ducks for SRF.
Perfect. Man,
you show us the right way to process them, Pip. It's all you, buddy.
Yeah. Man, he was slinging ducks at SRF. So for anyone who doesn't know, Pip down here in the chat, co-creator of Duction Cups. So if you have a Jeep and you have all the little rubber duckies, he sells just ducks with the suction cup, but he also sells the suction cup and the board that you put in the truck that you can put all of your ducks on so they're not flying all over the place. So absolutely go check out Pip over here. Try to get a hold of him and go to Duction Cup. Pip, what's the website? I can't.
Throw it in the comments.
Throw it in the comments. I'll toss it in the description of the.
Yeah, before I got into this community, before doing YouTube and stuff, and then when you and I started working together and stuff, I never even heard of that because I've never had a Jeep or anything. And then my aunt, she's down in North Carolina.
I'm kidding, Pip. We love you.
He is going to run you over with the Jeep.
He would need to, but
my aunt, it actually happened to her. She was telling me about it just a couple of weeks ago. I said, "Oh, that's funny. This guy down in Florida does all that stuff," and I was telling her about it. So,
yeah. Nope, absolutely. And they have a ton of great ducks too. They have fun ones. They sent us home with a goodie bag for the kids. I've got a rooster one on one of the deer antlers in the shop. Like they're also just fun to put around.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've seen the ducks in Jeeps. I wonder why. I don't know. Jeep people? I think that one sentence, or that's not even a sentence. That's 2 words. I'm pretty sure that describes that whole thing. Jeep people. I have nothing against them, but it's a thing. Yeah, Aaron over in the chat about sums it up. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no. So I'm super excited about those guys coming up. We're gonna film content for them. If Joe just finally pulls the trigger and it's comes up and is my cameraman up here and hangs out and possibly does a podcast with them, because that's somewhat on the table. They're like, well, with time and everything. I'm like, listen, I know how long this is going to take, but if you guys want to do other stuff while you're up here, I get it. You don't know me, but I guarantee you, if you like, because I talked to the producer, and he's like young city kid. That's like, he's like, so what are we doing? And I'm like, oh boy, buckle up. Like, and I was like trying to explain what I do for a living to a dude who lives in a like high-rise apartment, which nothing against him, but it's like, that is the complete polar opposite of understanding. So it's like trying to explain it to him. He's like, so are we going to need lighting? And it's like, well, it's outside. So I think we'll be all right. And like, just trying to explain it all. But yeah, I'm hoping to do a podcast with him as well, because hopefully that'll make this podcast huge.
That'd be cool.
Right? Always growing.
Yeah. Speaking of podcasts, we talked about it right before the show. I recorded one yesterday. It's Farming on Purpose. That's coming out this Tuesday, actually. It was a short turnaround one. So yeah, once I have the links and stuff, I'll share it. That one turned out pretty good. And then there's a couple other ones that I'm interested in getting on. I just got to fill out the applications.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Can't wait. It'll be the first thing I listen to that day.
Yeah, I got to look at, see which one, what platforms that one comes out on.
Yeah.
But she's supposed to send over the links and stuff to me when it goes out. So.
Perfect. Can you guys hear my dog being a jackass outside? Sure can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Gotta love it. Great Pyrenees. Get them. They're super fun.
Carmen's still around.
Well, Lisa, Carmen is not around. Carmen was the second pig to go into the freezer camp this year. Out of this group, my in-laws wanted a half a pig, and our mix-up with genetics to have smaller pigs was like, hey, don't have a half a pig, but I do have a whole pig that will be the size of a half a pig. So we're just going to give you that one. So she dressed out fantastic, gorgeous. Her bacon is going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through the cuts today with my in-laws, and they were like, wow, this is a lot of meat. I'm like, yeah. And this was a run.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was a full-size animal.
Oh, man. Yeah. She was small hanging weight, but they took the whole thing because she was small, right?
It was 160
so they got
pounds.
All the cuts out of her.
They got everything. Yeah, half bone in, half boneless. I'm doing a ham for them. I'm doing their bellies and stuff like that. Nice. So they got everything. Well, that was the first thing. He goes, where's the bacon? I'm like, it's brining in the cooler. You'll get it next week. This is the first question.
Says that. Where's my bacon at?
Yeah, you don't get it yet.
Someday someone will make a lot of money when they can breed a pig that's all bacon.
I don't know if I want to eat that, because that's some genetic engineered monstrosity. That's what. All right, now we're going to go. All right, full violence, off the rails. That is one of my biggest things when vegans are like, well, now we have all this 3D printed meat that's coming out. And it's going to be amazing, and it's going to completely destroy the meat industry. I was like, no, it will not. It won't. It won't. the only way it will destroy the meat industry is because bad actors in certain political standings would be behind them, and they would be trying to, I don't know why Pip's still up. I lost the comment. There it is. Would be trying to go against the meat industry to have a little bit more of a thumb hold on where people get their food from. But at the end of the day, there's still, like, we're doing what we're doing, and you can buy anything at the grocery store. What do you think is going to happen when you can't buy anything at the grocery store?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're just going to be bigger. Like, it's not how the world works.
They've got their ways they're trying to push out, make it harder for people to raise stuff, but where there's a will, there's a way. You know, people will figure it out.
Yeah, and I don't know. It is what it is. I've slowed down on listening to Vegan Lives. I almost go on none of them anymore because I'm like, I do for some odd reason still enjoy listening because I think it's funny. Now I think it's funny on the other side where I enjoy the people going like, I got this. I'll completely blow a hole in their entire argument. And I'll listen to what they said, and I'll just be in the shop cutting up a cow or doing whatever, going, nope, that was the wrong thing to say. And like listening to a Vegan Live as I'm cutting up a cow, just for the reactions of people. And because I'll admit, there are some people on there who are very, very smart. But like in life, there are the people that are book smart and will go at every situation going, well, this piece of paper says you're wrong. And this isn't right, and what you're doing is wrong. And then there are the people that actually do what's on that piece of paper, and they go, yeah, that's because they went over to Jerry's house, or like they went to these people to get what they wanted for an answer. But you didn't come talk to me. You didn't come talk to some of the other people that are doing it the correct way. You went to the worst people and gave them the vaguest answer possible. That's how paperwork has worked forever.
But the problem is the people that are listening believe it no matter what. It's like you're beating your head against the wall type situation trying to argue with these people.
Bearded Lunchbox over in TikTok. I didn't get this size eating salad. It's what it is, brother. I love vegetables. I love them. They're fantastic. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. I don't understand the thinking. I was going to say rational thinking, but it's not rational thinking.
No. Yeah. Like as long as I have animals on this property, I'm not eating any fucking lab-based meats or bug meat or freaking. I mean, I eat vegetables, but I'm trying to get away from store-bought vegetables as much as possible too. Just because who knows what's in that stuff anymore.
Exactly. And it's like when the answer to your movement is, well, just go to the grocery store and buy plant-based meat. It's like, that's not an answer. Like, that's not. Because what happens if the grocery store is closed? What happens then? Like, what happens if the grocery store does not open again? Guess what? You're not eating plant-based. I promise you that.
They're eating like the tubes. It's going to look like freaking toothpaste tubes, and that's what your food's going to come in.
And listen, if there are any vegans that stumble upon this in the end, I don't care. Like, I don't go on. Wait, what does it say? I put veggies on your plate, and you say, "What the hell is this rabbit food on my plate?" Yeah, exactly. You have to. At the end of the day, I have zero issue with veganism as a thing. Like, if you want to be a vegan and you want to not support factory farming, you don't want leather, you don't want like cruelty-free beauty products and like no animal testing, fantastic. All of that stuff exists. Do I agree with all of the things that happen? Absolutely not. That's why I opened my own butcher shop and started raising my own livestock on my own property where I oversee everything. Like, I answered your question by going the complete opposite way of you. And I do everything myself. I don't pay someone to slice an animal's throat. I do it. Like, what's your argument there? You're a psychopath. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
that's one thing that really irritates me. You know, they're like, "Oh, you're heartless." No, it's the complete opposite of that. We took it in our own hands
Right.
to you know, even customers' animals, when they're in our facility, our pens, they get unloaded here on our places. We take 100%, you know, seriousness on taking care of that animal to the best of our abilities and making sure they're comfortable and stuff. Yeah, there there's a purpose behind them being here, but it's I'm not going out there and beating the crap out of it and like, you
No.
know, abusing the animal before I, you know, start the
Yeah.
processing process. It's I care about every animal that I go through, and that the slaughter day is probably the worst day that I
Yeah.
have.
It's not a
But
fun day. It's not a
at
fun
the
day,
end of the
but it's
day,
also go ahead.
when you come out with your really nice package of meat, you're putting out a quality product for your customers that you know is healthy. There's no, you know, antibiotics and hormones or whatever is in it. You know, you're putting out a quality product for these families to go home and enjoy that, and they put you know, all that time and effort into those animals, or the farmer has. It just gets frustrating when they accuse you of being a monster and
Those are
psychopath
the only
and
times I'm ever tempted to go on, and I don't because I'm pissed.
yeah.
Like I'm angry. Like I'm not going to go on there and make a fool out of myself because at the end of the day, I have nothing to justify. Half these people live in their parents' house, like, and have master's degree in psychology, whatever. Fantastic. I don't like you at a baseline. Like, I don't care what you eat, but
Yeah.
I already like listen, and I love psychologists. Like I've been to a lot of them. I'm sure that's not a shock to anyone here. Um, like you and I are not going to agree on life,
Mhm.
like on just at a base level. I have come to the conclusion in my life that I am not normal, and I accept that, and I'm fine with it,
Mhm.
and I take it in stride, and I try to appear just normal enough to let everyone's sense of security go down, and then I let the weird out, and it's funny to me to see the reactions. That's where I am in life.
Yeah, it gets frustrating because I'm a firm believer in like we don't care what you do with your life. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong for not eating meat. Like I
Right,
don't care. Do what you want to do. I don't give a shit. But don't come and tell me what I'm doing wrong.
right.
That's what irritates me the most. Is like they get butthurt over what we're doing, and they try to come after people that are doing what we're doing. But then when we defend ourselves, we're you know they just keep trying to spin it back on you all the
No, it's
time.
throw
It's
as much information at you as possible so you can't actually defend a situation, or or
information.
or we're going to give you a hypothetical that's completely insane that anyone who did answer yes to, like, yeah, of
Yeah.
course they're going to lose an argument when you ask that question. But if your argument is beholden to somebody not answering an insane hypothetical about what a normal person would like handle with something that shoots, like, would a normal person would handle with one of these, like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, come at me with an actual reason why it's really bad. I guess. I don't know. Well, vegans live 13 years longer. I don't care. I smoked cigarettes for a decade. The meat's not going to kill me. Like,
Yeah. I don't understand where they like how many people have they studied on that started out from day one on their life all the way through their till they're 100 years old on completely vegan, nothing
well, and
else.
that's where these studies get crazy. Because guess what? I've done research. I have done herbal supplements and been up till like 1 o'clock in the morning reading peer-reviewed studies of just like how are you getting these test results? And again,
Mhm.
it's not people like watching someone for 60 years to see what's going on and forcing them to eat this exact thing. The majority of it is medical paperwork where it's a checkbox of like, do you eat meat? Yes.
Mhm.
But that checkbox does not include, do you eat meat that you grow or your neighbor grows that like is healthy, has good cholesterol, things like that, like blah blah. Or do you just eat McDonald's Big Macs or insanely processed foods? Yeah, you eat that stuff, you're going to get cancer. You're going to die if all you do is eat Big Macs. Like, obviously, that's not healthy.
And it's come up a lot in discussions with people that I've just talked to personally about how the food system in the United States and the food, like, I just talked to somebody that went to Germany and they're like, we ate normal for what we would eat here, but their ingredients in their food is so much different. Like, you can read the package and understand what's in it. And they're like, we didn't get bloated. We didn't have issues with our, GI tracts. We didn't gain weight. We felt good. We had more energy. It's like, and we were eating bread and pasta and sauce and meat and vegetables, and they didn't have all the issues that we have here in America with our food system. And it's like, why aren't we trying to focus on that?
Right.
Because over in Europe and Germany and all these other countries, they're cracking down on it. And they have a lot. In return, their population is going to be a lot healthier in the long run because they're already 10 steps ahead of us.
Right.
But in America, it's all about making money.
Europe shooting themselves in the foot agriculturally anyway. So more than likely, it's just all going to burn like the rest of us.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
America just does it behind our back. We can't even protest.
Right. Yeah, it's like at the end, it's one of those situations where it's like for you to like for what you're saying to affect me and make me upset. Every now and then, one of them sneaks through. One of them's just like such an a-hole that it's like you're just an ass. Like, it has nothing to do with you being a vegan. You suck. And that one will get me. But at the end of the day, when they say things like you're a psychopath, you're a murderer, you're this, you're that, it's like, in order for that to affect me, I have to validate your opinion. I don't care. You don't affect my life whatsoever. And it's like, sure, did you like talk a couple random people who are already probably not mentally well into starting a vegan diet because they listened to some dude on TikTok? Probably. And listen, people probably shouldn't listen to me on TikTok. Like, it's not like TikTok is not an app. No offense, TikTok. TikTok is not an app to like, there are things you can learn, but like, you shouldn't trust me. I'm a dude on the internet that pews animals in the face. It is what it is. I'm pretty fun. But like, for you to make that drastic life change based on what some dude said on TikTok without doing any research, maybe you did a little research, but it's all the research they gave you. Like, that's fantastic. I listened to one last week. I had 10 people message me to say they turned vegan just because they listened to this. And I was like, one, that's probably a lie. Two, that's dumb. I don't care. Like, guess what? I still have on some of them that are screaming that stuff out. I'm like, guess what, bitch? I've got like 8,000 more followers than you. I don't care. And I'm doing the exact opposite of what you're doing. Rooster Milk. Have you been in here before? He's selling Rooster Milk. We have an ad here on YouTube. I would not like to buy Rooster Milk. I'm not a dairy person. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. I'm a bit lactose.
Yeah. You started a fight between my children because you shouted out to Gage and not McKinley.
Okay. I will get McKinley on the next one. I promise. I need to edit tonight. If it's not tonight, it will be tomorrow. I have the pork cuts coming out this week. And then the next video, I did skulls. I'm not going to get fully into it because we're getting towards to an hour here, but I pulled skulls out of that pot that have been in there for it was bad.
I literally, when I seen that TikTok, I was like, yeah, I can smell it already. But if you have never boiled a skull, especially a skull that's been sitting around for months,
if you've never dealt with a massacrated skull, and for those, I'm looking at both cameras. For those who don't know what massacrating is, that is when you take a skull and you put it in water
Hmm.
to let nature do its course and do a lot of the work for you. And I had 2 skulls that were very old. Well, not very old. They were like 5 months old, but they had been sitting outside with all the meat still on them for 4 months in the middle of winter.
Well, my daughter's mad at me. She wanted to be on the podcast.
Oh boy. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll bring her over.
I will absolutely shout her out in the next video, but I am also very used to women being mad at me. So I'm sorry.
I'll have to bring her on one day. She's got all jealous because Gage got to come on.
We will have McKinley on. Absolutely. We'll ask her about her bottle sheep and stuff. See how much you've taught her. But yeah, no. But yeah, no, it was really bad. It was rough, to say the least. And I don't get that way easy. And I was the video is going to be great. I don't know if it's even going to make it past all of the AI or anything to even stay out, but it was great. I wore a mask just because, not even like, I'm like, listen, I know the smell's not gonna, like, I'm gonna smell it. There's no way I'm not. It's literally just because I knew I was making a video and I didn't want anything flying into my mouth while I was talking. So I just have a pink camo fabric mask on with my sunglasses and my hat. You can see no part of my face. And I'm sitting there pulling chunks of meat off a skull and just going, ugh! Like, the 2 older ones were pretty rough just because they had a lot of staining on them and stuff like that. So I didn't put them through a whitening bath because they were still a little fragile too. And I'm like, I'm just going to leave them in water and OxyClean, let everything else work its way off. But honestly, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to go inside and shower now. Like, this is bad. So there'll be a part 3 to that skull video.
Hopefully you charge enough to make it worth it.
Yeah, there's $1,000 worth of skulls sitting out there.
Yeah. So, I never charged enough and it wasn't worth it, so I don't do it anymore.
It's almost not worth it now. So Jesus. Well, Aaron over in the chat, Vicks Vapor Rub and Big Red Chewing Gum, whole pack. Pretty much. It was, yeah. It was rough.
I don't even know if that would cut the smell of something like that, though.
Nope. No, it's bad. And then I just felt like I was smelling it all day. Like, it was just there. Need an update on your favorite 30-year-old horse? Well, he's 34. And he's still alive. Somehow. I don't know how long you haven't listened or how long you've been gone, Lisa, but I'll give you a little quick update. We had the vet come out probably about 6 months ago now to run some tests. And she was shocked by his age because of how fantastic he looked. And she said, honestly, I've seen her horses in worse condition live another 10 years. And I audibly said fuck out loud while they were standing right. Both the vet and my wife were standing right there. So I walked away, paid almost $1,000 for blood work, only to get back that his blood work is damn near perfect. A direct quote from the vet was, if I handed his blood work to a vet right out of vet school, they'd think it was like a 1-year-old colt. So we're going to have a 90-year-old horse.
Ripley's, believe it or not.
Right. Yeah, people make some money on this thing. Yeah, exactly. Tyler,
look at the bright side of
it. He's older than us. This horse is 2 years older than me.
Yeah, a year older than me, so.
God damn it. But I still keep making funny TikTok content with him, so it is what it is. He's gonna start paying for himself one way or another. He's gonna start paying for himself one way. All right, Joe. We're up in an hour. Where can everyone find you?
Here on YouTube, Blakeslee Acres, Facebook at Blakeslee Acres, TikTok now. Every week, Saturday nights here with Kyle and Meet the Critters. And I think that's everything.
Yep. And we'll get, as soon as that podcast comes out, I'll blast it on Telegram. We'll blast it on TikTok. We'll throw it out there. Everyone's going to listen.
Oh, and at Telegram in the Critter group.
Yes. So, and as always, you can find me on @BackwoodsButcher603. That is TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, even though it's a wasteland that I haven't touched in probably months at this point. I think I'll randomly put up shorts every now and then, but it is a wasteland that I do not tolerate. So go follow me over there. Maybe if I start getting more follows, I'll do something. But
yeah,
go follow me on TikTok. Again, we're going to try to do these lives on TikTok a lot more too, and keep the podcast going. So absolutely, I appreciate it. And for the Telegram group, the link is in the description. All of our links are in the description of the YouTube. So if you're over on TikTok, go jump over to YouTube and find all of our information there. Yeah. We love you guys. Freaking 50 episodes. It's insane. Yeah. I didn't think it was going to get this far, and it's here. So the next time we do, I don't know. We're just going to keep going with it because you guys are still watching. Again, the name of the episode is How the Hell Are You Still Watching This? So I don't know, but we love you guys. So thank you very much, and we will see you all next time.
See you later.